Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? It is me coming back at you again with another live hangout vid. Yes, guys. I am doing a hangout vid that is a lot earlier than usual. Because I promised myself to you guys I'm gonna have to do these earlier hangouts. But close this up right here. But anyways, I'm gonna get down to the nitty gritty. It wasn't really a busy weekend of boxing. As Jorge Linares made his super lightweight debut. He moved up after his loss to Lomachenko at 135. He took on Abner Cotto and stopped him. And then you also had Jose Uzcategui, who fought over the weekend as well against, I don't know who it is, but yeah, very, very slow week of boxing. And then you had Yoran Akaz, who fought, and so forth. Actually, no, Akaz, did he fought last week? I know George Groves and Callum Smith fought over the weekend in Saudi Arabia for the final of the World Boxing Super Series. And Callum Smith came through with an impressive knockout victory over George Groves with a counter left hook that really hurt Groves, and he finished him off with a flurry of punches in the 7th round. So now Callum Smith is now not only the new WBA champion at super middleweight, he's also the Ring Magazine champion and also the $50 million winner of the Muhammad Ali. He's also the $50 million recipient winner and the recipient of the Muhammad Ali trophy. So congratulations to Callum Smith. Where does he go from here? What does he have to stack up against? Sorry, I got that guy. Yeah, so we'll see how's he stack up against those other super middleweights like David Benavidez, who, by the way, has been caught with cocaine in his system. We'll see how that plays out. Gilberto Ramirez, who's the WBO super middleweight champion, that Jose Uzcategui, who I just mentioned, who's the IBF super middleweight champion. So, it's very funny. Well, not funny. What's very interesting about the super middleweight picture is that, yeah, it seems like the crop of super middleweights are kind of declined a bit now ever since Carl Froch, Andre Ward, Miguel Kessler, and the Abrahams. I mean, all of them pretty much are left the division. Both Andre Ward, Carl Froch retired, Kessler retired, Abraham is on his way out. So the super middleweight division is really going to be on a bit of a decline momentarily, though. And Andre Durrell has recently retired, even though he wasn't a champion, but he was a significant player. Anthony Durrell, I don't know. I heard he's supposed to get a title shot against David Benavidez, but we'll see how that plays out. So we'll see how that goes. But as far as Cal Smith and how he stacks up against those guys, I saw some improvements in Cal Smith's arsenal against George Groves. And even though I did favor Groves to win that fight based off experience and craftiness, but some will argue that Cal Smith took advantage of George Groves, who was banged up, who was injured prone, this, that, and the third. I get all that, but some of us didn't expect him to win that fight. Some of us, I'm not saying a majority did, but some of us didn't expect him to win that fight against George Groves, but he did. Got to give him his credit. Now we have to see how he stacks up against those other super middleweights. Now, the question is Eddie Hearn or Barry Hearn is willing to put him in there against the likes of Benavidez, Ramirez, and Uzcategui. So that's yet to be seen. Or now he is the WBA super middleweight champion. He is the actual champion. They may match him up against Rocky Fielding, who is the regular champion. So the WBA may mandate that fight. So we'll have to see what comes out of that. Tony Ayo, what's going on, man? Yeah, man, I've been MIA because I've been traveling. I've been home ever since I got back home from Europe and Dubai. I've been caught up with work, so I had to. I'm a district manager at my job for a telecom company, and I had to relieve some people, terminate some people due to misconduct and this, that, and third. I'm not going to go further than that, but it's been a very busy week, trying to beef up staff again. So it is what it is. So interesting weekend, very quiet. I mean, with some, just to highlight some names who fought against lower tier opposition, like Linares fought Cotto, Uzcategui fought someone, and then again, the biggest highlight, the biggest fight of the weekend was George Groves and Callum Smith. So I would definitely love to see Callum Smith go up against Zordo Moraes. I'd love to see that fight, but Zordo hasn't really been quite as impressive in the last couple of fights. So, if I had to pick a favorite between Callum Smith and Zordo Ramirez, I probably would slightly favor Callum Smith. I slightly would probably favor him. So we'll see how that plays out, man. We'll see how that plays out. Now, now let's get on to so the meat of this hangout here. And I'll probably invite some guys here so we could chop it up real quickly. HBO is I know some people were the news came out of the week is that HBO has decided to drop its boxing content. All right. They're not completely dead yet. They are phasing out their last card. I think the last card they're going to show is Danny Jacobs versus Sergey Devchenko, and then they're going to sunset from there. But I also heard the rumor mill that HBO is pleading on Canelo Alvarez now that he's going to part ways with them due to their decision to drop the boxing content altogether. Their rumor mill is that they're speaking with Canelo and his team to host one more pay-per-view before the end of the year, which is a possibility, but we'll see how that plays out. Now, a lot of people can speculate why HBO died. A lot of people are saying that due to their poor let's say their lack of effort of calling fights from a impartial perspective in a way. Over the years, like you had Larry Merchant who berated fighters, who berated managers or promoters on live telecasts, and Jim Lampley who called fights from a biased perspective, and then you had on-air arguments with the commentators, along with the unofficial score judges like Harold Letterman, who at most point of his at the later stages of his career with HBO, who showed who he failed to show impartiality in a way. So, and HBO's strategy of marketing foreign, Eastern European fighters over American fighters. Yeah, so there's a lot of factors of why you could say they have died out. But let's just be honest here and let's be more realistic here. We're going to talk about this from a business perspective. Okay. Now, me personally, I stand by my statement that, I'm not going to cry spill milk over HBO's demise as far as boxing is concerned. I'm not going to cry spill milk over it. Yes, they put on great fights over the years, but in reality, no one's going to care about who hosted the fights. People are going to care about when those fights got made. All right. And what was the result of those fights. Okay. I'll give you an example. ABC Worldwide Sports, okay? They've hosted great fights over for many years. But who the hell talks about ABC Worldwide Sports on the great fights they made, huh? Nobody talks about that. What people talk about is that the actual matchmaking, not about who hosted the fights for the most part, even though that's an important aspect of it. But yes, again, I'm not trying to undermine what they've done over the years. They put on some great fights over the years, yes. But let's not deny the fact that people, there were many people who weren't not too fans of their product over the recent years. That's what I'm going to get into right now. Now, most people who don't know about this situation, I heard anyone talk about this except for D-Style Boxing. Shout out to D-Style, by the way. And he made a good point about this. People did not realize, most people don't know here, or not too familiar with the situation. Sorry about that, guy. I got a notification. But HBO, who's owned by Time Warner, were actually a few years ago were in a merger acquisition agreement, which they had to jump through many hurdles to get it approved through the U.S. Justice Department, and they have to go through the hurdles with the FCC's filings, this, that, and the third to get the merger complete. They eventually completed the merger until they ran into some antitrust lawsuit issues with their competitors. So AT&T was able to overcome that, and they fully resumed control of Time Warner along with HBO. Okay, so what people, again, AT&T now owns Time Warner, who now owns HBO. Now, according to now this is just only speculating, but this is an obvious fact. Now, I have every reason to believe that AT&T want nothing to do with the boxing content or the product, okay? Because when they made the acquisition of Time Warner, when they bought them out, all right, they looked at their product line, they looked at their content, they looked at the products that are making a sustainable profit versus those that are not making a sustainable profit. right? They look at the books, they look at the production costs, they look at the ROIs on the product, and it turns out that ATT wanted nothing to do with boxing at all. From the looks of it, they wanted nothing to do with it. Okay. And the reason why they want nothing to do with it is because over the years, and people could deny this all they want to, but this is a fact, HBO for the last 3 years have declined in ratings. They have. And Peter Nelson could deny that the decline in ratings was the reason why they're exiting from boxing. No. The fact is that declining ratings was a factor why they had to drop HBO. HBO had to drop boxing. That was the reason why. It all goes back to 2015 with the Golovkin and David Lemieux pay-per-view bout. Even though I defended Golovkin on that situation, his first pay-per-view, okay? I thought HBO broke even on that situation. But according to their internal factors, that wasn't good enough for them because it turns out they probably invested a little bit more into that pay-per-view than we have expected. So they had to cut staff after that pay-per-view underperformance, I should say. They had to cut staff. And they had to get rid of their top heads. They had to reduce production costs. Due to that, they had to reduce the dates, which also prompted Bob Arum from Top Rank to take his stable away from HBO to go to ESPN. Okay. Now I know some people are rambling about, well, HBO didn't do bad. They had a great pay-per-view. Well, duh. Yeah, they had a great pay-per-view with Golovkin and Canelo, their last two, I should say. But it doesn't dismiss the fact that they had declining ratings over the last 3 years. Okay, 2 pay-per-views is successful pay-per-views in 1 year or over a year is not going to save the content. All right. Showtime, regardless of what you say about Heyman, is stable, but the fact is they put on some great matchups over the last couple of years. They killed HBO in ratings. That is a fact. They killed them. Okay, and HBO and also with the Zone coming in with their streaming content, whatnot. And ESPN with Top Rank with their deal, and Frank Warren's coming in and had made the deal with ESPN and Top Rank to showcase his fights with under his promotion over the UK. Of course, Eddie Hearn with the DAZN, which is a good thing as well, regardless of what we say about it. Even though we hope the DAZN could be successful, but based off what they have right now, I don't know. That's still up in the air. But the fact is that HBO saw the writing on the wall, and AT&T again. I have to go back to AT&T. They probably seen the writing on the wall as well, and they knew that they couldn't compete, and they want nothing to do with the product anyway. So that's why they had to exit out. Okay. So the fact is that that's the reason why HBO Boxing died, because the content could not sustain a positive profit over the last 2-3 years. They couldn't sustain it. There was no sustainable profits over the last 2 years. That's a fact. Okay, that's a fact. And Showtime killed them. CBS killed them. That's what it is. They killed them in ratings. That's a fact. You could go back and say, well, Showtime hasn't hosted any pay-per-view since Mayweather versus McGregor, this, that, and the third. But you have to understand that pay-per-views are not the only sole reason that you can make profits. You have to make profits from your original content as well, your cable subscription content. You need that to overcome other costs, the offset of the costs, especially from pay-per-views. So that's the reason why they died out. Is it unfortunate? Me personally, maybe. But again, I'm not going to cry spilled milk over it because I haven't been a fan of their content for the last few years. I haven't. It's been due to horrible matchmaking. Yes, they've had some good matchmaking, but at the same time, their matchmaking wasn't good enough against Showtime or CBS or even ESPN, by that matter. You can say what you want about Bob Arum, but he put on some pretty good cards over the last year with ESPN and Top Rank. He has. We have to give him a little credit for that. Okay, so let me go to the comments here. Yayo said, yeah, some great fights with terrible, atrocious commentary. Absolutely. Absolutely. Tony Styles said that. Yeah, Tony, I agree. I would just say bias. I wouldn't go far to say racist, but I would just go far to say there's some propaganda that was going on. I'll give you an example where it has something to do with nationalism. But Jim Lampley, when the scorecards were announced with the first Ward and Kovalev fight, where they gave the decision to Andre Ward, 114, 113, all 33 judges scored it for Ward. Jim Lampley came out and said, well, you have an American fighter and you have all 3 American judges. You be the judge. You decide on that. When Jim Lampley said that, I'm like, oh, okay, wait a minute. Hold up. Are you trying to create this little narrative about nationalism was the reason why Ward won that fight against Kovalev? That right there disgusted me right there because first of all, that just showed to me that HBO at that point with their original comment with their commentary crew, they just can no longer be impartial. And the fact is that I said many times, if HBO's want to going to survive, they need to change their staff. I said for many times they need to get rid of Lampley, they need to get rid of Harold Letterman, and they certainly need to get rid of Larry Merchant, which they ultimately did finally after what 2-3 decades. And because of Larry Merchant, their top fighters left their program to go to the Showtime, Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson. So with that said, I think again, there's many other factors why they died out, but the main factor is that AT&T wanted nothing to do with their programming. They want nothing to do with it. That's why they had to exit out. Their ratings were declining over the last couple of years. That's a fact. They have been declining. So there's just no sugarcoating over there. It's the way it is. You could cry spilled milk over the fact that they had more top fighters over there. I don't know about that. Okay. They may have some top fighters over there, but their top fighters were in horrible matchmaking, with the exception of Golovkin and Canelo. That's it. Kovalev and Ward, yeah, that's an exception there too. But the fact is that, yeah, Sergey Kovalev just couldn't overcome Andre Ward. And he recently got knocked out by a PBC fighter by the name of Alidia Alvarez. Let's throw that in there. Let's go to the chat here. Yeho says, yeah, I kind of feel bearish about Showtime boxing commitment long term, knowing that Les Muniz is no longer with Showtime CBS. Dude was an avid boxing fan. Yeah. You know what? That's a good point, Yayo. Muniz was definitely advocate supporter of boxing and his content. But there is one upside of that. Steve Espinoza, who is the executive president of Showtime Sports, he did indicate that they're going to invest more into boxing in the coming years. So that depends on what sustainable profits they can gain for the next year or so. So we'll see how that goes out. So Steve Espinoza, even though Muniz is out due to his sexual harassment allegations that went against him by the female employees, we're not going to discuss that. But Espinoza has guaranteed that they're going to stay committed to the product over the coming years, but that depends on how they produce, what their financial results are over the next year or so. So we'll see. Great Drake, what's going on, Great Drake? He said boxing needs every fighter under one network. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can say what about the zone. I mean, it's good in a way to get the zone in there, so that way all these other networks can do better with their matchmaking. But the thing is, though, let's talk about that shortly because Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin are looking for deals at this moment. Now, Gennady Golovkin could be a probability to go over to the zone because he's not really a pay-per-view fighter without Canelo Alvarez. Let's be honest here. He headlined 2 pay-per-views at HBO and they turned out to be flops. But Canelo Alvarez himself, he's actually a genuine pay-per-view star. Now, the likelihood of Canelo Alvarez going to the zone, I would say that's slim to none because the zone is not a platform where you can earn pay-per-view back end. Canelo Alvarez needs that. So, I mean, if the zone and Eddie Hearn could sign Canelo Alvarez to Matchroom to a co-promotional deal with Golden Boy in the zone, I don't know. I don't know about that one, man. I don't know. I mean, that's very, very, very. I mean, they're going to have to come up with some very, very huge dollars for Canelo Alvarez, especially that he's a pay-per-view fighter and he wants that back-end money. So that's a very, very, very uphill battle for the zone to try to sign him. Now, Showtime offers pay-per-view. So, I mean, it'll be ironic for him to go back to Showtime. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. ESPN, I don't know. I mean, they don't offer pay-per-view either, but maybe they can work out a deal where they will be offering pay-per-view to certain fighters. So we'll see. Joe Host, what's happening, man? He says that Joe says is this the beginning of the cable and boxing satellite? It's possible, man. It's possible because even though Showtime says that they're going to be committed for the next couple of years or so, 3 years or so, but streaming services is the future of watching sports. It is. I can't deny that. And Showtime does have their streaming option too. So let's not get it twisted. So did HBO. But Showtime does have their streaming option where you can offer the a la carte. You don't have to get into cable programming with their platform. You can order their a la carte service with only $12 a month with the 1 month free subscription. You could do that with Showtime. So Showtime already got way ahead of the curve, more so than HBO did. They have. So if anything, Copen, let me see. Yo, hi man, what's going on, man? What's going on? I'll invite some of you guys on for a second. Derek Williams, salute. What's going on, man? He said, salute to me. My thoughts on HBO stands for they hate for blacks. Only Larry Merchant, Jim Lampley, biased opinion on European fighters. They affect the HBO bottom line, bad for business. Well, you know what, Derek? I would say that's part of it. That was part of the reason because I know some people say, well, yeah. So what? They wanted, they wanted to invest in European fighters. So fucking what? They turn out to be top fighters. Yeah, but you have to understand though, the casual American public were not keen onto those type of fighters. Okay, and that's a fact. They weren't keen on them. Maybe some hardcores were, but not the casuals. What people don't understand is that the American boxing market thrives on the casual public. It's not built from the grassroots, as people would say. It's not. That's a fact. And it's sad because we desperately need that here in the United States. But unfortunately, this is a big casual market. You need fighters that appeal to casuals. And Canelo Alvarez is the guy. Okay? And Deontay Wilder with Showtime, that could be a possibility. He's appealing to the casuals to some degree. But he's getting there. Okay? You need the person who not only can appeal to the casuals, but you need a person who can produce the results. Now, Manny Pacquiao is an exception because he came in at the right time. So HBO probably assumed that they can dub off that type of success, get a foreign fighter who's exciting, who can produce knockouts. He doesn't necessarily have to speak English, but if he can produce the knockouts and deliver the results that the crowd are looking for, then we can make money off him, just like we did Pacquiao. But unfortunately, it didn't work with Golovkin. It didn't really work with Kovalev. So Lomachenko, maybe there's a little bit of success there, but there's many casuals who don't quite know who Lomachenko is either. So he's still got work to do with ESPN and Top Rank. So there's still work to do with marketing him properly, I should say, or to the casuals, I should say. So yeah, Great Drake says that they only promoted foreign white fighters who can't speak well. HBO was best when they had a majority of American fighters and Hispanics. Well, yeah. So here's the thing. There's millions and millions of Hispanics here in the United States. So yeah, you could get away with marketing to that demographic here. And so is American fighters as well. But as far as the Eastern Europeans, that was a huge gamble by HBO. Not saying that those Eastern European fighters didn't deserve to be promoted, but that was a huge gamble. And the American casual public weren't keen on them. That's a fact. They weren't keen on them. So, I mean, it's sad, but they did produce crowd-pleasing style weight and fighting, but that's just the way it is, man. That's not me being a hater. That's just a fact. Copen says that Showtime shouldn't get excited. In a couple years or so, next streaming will be the future of watching sports. Yeah, Copen, I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree. And I said that. And again, I think Showtime actually recognizes that. So that's why they're trying to get ahead of the curve with their streaming service, which is good. Because you can get not only boxing, but you can also get movies. You can also get shows. I mean, HBO is doing the same thing too, but I think they really kind of fumbled the ball on that one when they didn't do a lot of good matchmaking. So that's the price they had to pay. And again, I think what it is that AT&T weren't really keen on the boxing product, so they wanted to do away with it. So they acquired Time Warner, which owns HBO, by the way. Or used to own it because now AT&T owns HBO. So, yeah. So that's one of the reasons. Copen says Facebook and YouTube have already dipped their toe into live streaming sports. So Amazon have started streaming live sports, and Netflix will start joining their rates. Yeah, they're all going to start getting involved in that. I know the NFL has signed a deal with Amazon, so that's a sign of things of things yet to come when it comes to broadcasting sports on traditional TV platforms. So the question is how far the ABC can go with the NBA with that situation. So that'd be interesting, or MLB with Fox. So we'll see. Let's see. The Texan, what's going on, Texan? He said there's a lot of variables that took part in HBO's demise. Their lack of content, as well as compared to Showtime and ESPN, The Zone, were poor. Yeah, exactly, Texan. That's exactly what I pointed out to earlier on my podcast hangout, is that there was a lot of correlating variables or factors what took part of their demise. But I think the core principle, the core demise is that they had rapid decline in ratings over the last couple of years, and AT&T pretty much wanted nothing to do with their with the boxing content or the product. They want nothing to do with it. Kind of similar to how many people, I'm not sure how old everybody is here, but if anybody's old enough to remember, this is very similar to what Time Warner had this acquisition with AOL when AOL bought out Time Warner when they merged. Okay, and became the majority stakeholders. And D-Style brought this up too, which is a good point. And I remember this. The last time Time Warner went through this type of acquisition, there's one particular product which Time Warner stuck with so many years, which was a pro wrestling product, which is WCW at the time when they had the ranks of Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage, all those guys who were former superstars of the WWF back in the day, right? So, and Ultimate Warrior, who was there for a short stint. But anyways, the WCW, after the Figure Poke of Doom controversy with Hogan and Nash, their ratings were declining rapidly against WWF. Okay, and when Time Warner was emerging with AOL, when AOL was becoming the majority stakeholders, AOL wanted nothing to do with pro wrestling because they looked at the books, they saw over the years what their ratings were looking like, looking at the production costs and looking at their return on investment, and they looked at that ratio and they saw, you know what, this product is not going anywhere. We want nothing to do with it. So ATT probably has seen the same thing from when it came to boxing. That's the reason why they're exiting out of it. So, yeah. Joe says that I prefer sitting around my TV, remote in hand, with the homies and watching the pay-per-view over streaming. Hey, you know what? If you want to do the traditional thing, so be it, Joe host. I can't fault you for that, homie. But but Copen has a good point. We can't deny the fact that streaming services is taking over because many people like myself don't watch TV that much these days. I really don't. Me and my wife, we're just at home watching our Roku streaming services. Whatnot. We're watching, Tubi TV. We're watching Amazon. We're watching Netflix and watching Hulu. I mean, that's all we watch, man. That's all we watch. Great Jake says that cable TV is dead. The only reason I have it is because I watch sports. Absolutely, I agree. Tony Styles agrees with Joe Host. So, yeah, man. So let's just kick. Like I said, I agree with Texan. Texan, I see eye to eye on this one. It was just a lot of variables why the HBO's sports at boxing had demised. And Derek Williams also had some good points too about what type of fighters they were promoting and what type of narratives and propaganda they were pushing. It was just a lot of reasons why they declined. So again, it doesn't dismiss the fact that they put on some great fights over over 40 plus years. It doesn't. We can't dismiss that. Yes, but at the end of the day, not too many people are going to remember about the broadcasters that's hosted fights. People are only going to remember when the fights took place. That's all people are going to remember. Plain and simple. All right, so let's get off the HBO thing. Let's talk about. I gotta show you guys something here because this is very, very, very interesting here. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. has been put onto the Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury undercard pay-per-view. Oh, hold on for a second, guys. Hold on for a second, guys. I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. Alrighty. So, oh, guys, these sound distractions. I'm sorry, guys. All right, I'm helping one of my employees out here. Hold on for a second. What's going on, Rock? I see you in the comment section, brother. Let me see. All right. So, anyways, let me show you guys something here. I'm gonna show you my screen. Ralph Unreal, what's happening, man? Says here, I just rather stream, not wasting my money. I hear you, Ralph. Hold on. One iPhone is free to sell. All right. All right. So, anyways, under new orders. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to share my screen to you guys here because this is disturbing stuff. I got to show you something. Hold on here. I'm going to show you guys my screen. All right, we're going to do a screen share. We're going to do a full screen. All right. Now, see, we're right here. As you can see the event under here, I know you guys can see it. Right? All right, actually, I'm going to bring it up here. As you can see right here, guys, look who's underneath there, under the main event. So, of course, Wilder versus Fury is going to be for the WBC and Lineal Championship. BoxRec rated a 5-star fight. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. has been penciled in to be on the undercard against a to be announced opponent. Now, I'm confused about this because one, I thought Julio Cesar Chavez is already booked for a rematch against Sergio Martinez, unless that's the opponent at super middleweight. Two, I thought Chavez Jr. has already signed to deal with the zone. So I don't know what's going on with that. And if you ask me personally, I don't think anyone would be very keen on seeing Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. again after that dismal or terrible performance against Canelo Alvarez on a pay-per-view that took place early last year, which he really didn't even give much of an effort to win that fight, which a lot of the Mexican audience was pissed off at Chavez Jr. I mean, they've been pissed off at him prior when he quit against Andrew Vivar and they threw stuff at him, but they were more upset at him when he didn't even try against Canelo Alvarez. So I'm not sure if this is going to be a good idea to host this guy on the undercard, unless you're going to put him in there against a pulse, so somebody with a pulse, quote unquote. Sergio Martinez, no, we already seen that fight many years ago. Sergio Martinez is a broken fighter. I just don't see how anyone would be interested in that fight. Unless you put him in there against Jose Uzcategui, who's a dangerous super middleweight. You put him in there against maybe David Benavidez, then that's a possibility. Maybe you could sell that, but not no fucking over the hill Soldier Martinez, who's retired, obviously, who's broken, a shell of himself. I mean, no, you can't put him in there against a fridge contender. You got to put him in there, and Chavez Jr. is a fridge contender himself, but you got to or he was a former champion, but it is what it is. Not a great champion, not even a great fighter, but I just don't see how. I mean, if you're gonna put this guy on the undercard, then you got to put him in there against a live body, a live pulse like Uzcategui. That'd be an interesting matchup with Benavidez. That's the only way you can sell that fight. Sell Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. on the pay-per-view undercard. That's the only way you could do it. All right. And what's also interesting here is that you see under the promoter tab, and Hatman point this out on his channel, is that Frank Warren is co-promoting this event along with TGB Promotions under Tom Brown, who's a local promoter here in Los Angeles. So it looks like Frank Warren is the lead promoter here. That's what it looks like to me. He's co-promoting. I'm not sure if he's a lead, but he's co-promoting. So that right there is interesting, but I don't think that really matters, but it is what it is. All right. But the main thing is Chavez Jr. That's the one I'm kind of a little disturbed about. All right. I'm not sure about that one right there. Let me go ahead and take off my screen share here. But all right, stop right there. Good. Let me see. I'm already. Hold on, guys. I'm still distracted here. I flip the screen. I'm on the screen. Where's this device? All right. Okay. Yeah, Kiwi, what's happening, man? Yeah, what's happening, brother? We're doing good, man. Rock, we're doing good, man. The Texans, yeah. I don't think this is a good luck, to be honest with you, unless he's put in there against the sacrificial lamb. I agree to David Benavidez. Yeah, Texan, I agree. Yeah, if Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is going to be on that undercard, which it looks like he's going to be on there because his father, Chavez Sr., put this information out a few days ago. And I'm surprised not too many people picked up on it, except for maybe a couple of channels. But I thought, I was like, okay, I'm not going to take that seriously. But until I seen that on the box rec, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, hold up. Unless you're going to put him in there against a live body like the Benavidez or Uzcategui, then I can understand. Yeah, what up, Wayne King? Doing good, man. Doing good. I honestly don't want to see a Julio Cesar Chavez ever again. I really don't want to see him ever again, unless you put him in there against a live body and let's see if he got some heart. At least he put up an effort. If he's really serious about winning, then yeah, then he can redeem himself against the Latino audience, his one supporters that abandoned him. So yeah. All right, so let's see here. Anyhow, yeah, not too much to go over here, guys. I mean, it's very slow this week. Deontay Wilder did arrive in London today, so he's been giving out some interviews with IFL. So he's doing some interviews, whatnot. So we'll see how they play out. So the press conference is tomorrow. It's going to be, I think, 1 p.m. at the BT Studios, and from what I've read, it's not going to be open to the public in London. It's only going to be at the BT Studios. So whoever has press credentials can go in. From what I've read, I could be wrong, but I do know that press conference, the next press conference after that, which is the day after, is going to be in New York. That's going to be open to the public. And the Los Angeles one, it would be the day after the New York press conference, which is be on October 3rd, which I'm probably going to be attending. That's going to be at the Staples Center, and that's going to be live. That's going to be open to the public. And I think that's the same day the tickets will go on sale for that fight. So, yeah, that's what's going to happen. So Kiwi says, how about Chavez Jr. versus Tim Tszyu? Battle of the Sons of Over Idols. Is Tim Tszyu super middleweight? I thought he was a light middleweight. Kiwi, let me check on that. I thought Tim Tszyu was a light middleweight. Hold on, let me check. Tim Tszyu is let me see. Costa. All right, let me see. Tim Tszyu, I thought he's a Again, let me look at that Kiwi. I think he's a light middleweight. I had no idea he was a super middleweight. But look, here's a problem with that Kiwi. Tim Tszyu is not known here. He's fought, in Australia, which he's locally recognized there. But to bring him out here to fight him on a big pay per view undercard against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., nah. I don't mind the idea if it was on another event, but not on this pay per view event. That wouldn't be a good idea. That would not be a good idea. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, Tim Tszyu is a light middleweight. Yeah, I don't know about that one, Kiwi. That's too much weight. And Chavez Jr. is a huge guy. that'd be suicide for Tim Tszyu, to be honest with you. Even though Chavez is not a great fighter, but still, that'd be suicide because I don't think he could deal with the weight and height disadvantage against Chavez, if that was even considered an idea. All right. So let's see. If I was Frank Warren, Rome says, if I was Frank Warren, my promotional name better be on that fight card. That is probably what it is. Somebody's name need to be on it. Yeah, it is. It actually is Rome. His name is on that promotional card. He is his promotional company, Queensberry Promotions, is listed as co-promoter. So yeah, so he pretty much helps. He helps dictate the fights. I guess he'll be help selecting the judges. So he'll be involved in all that of all the to particulars of getting this event put together along with Tom Brown, who's the other co-promoter for TBS Promotions, which is under fit the bill under Al Heyman, obviously. So Al Heyman and Tim Brown will be calling most of the shots as well, along with Frank Warren. So they both gonna be co-promoting this event. So Kiwi says, yeah, he is, but he has said he wants that fight for his dad. Well, you know what, Kiwi? That's very brave and noble of Tim Tszyu to want to take on Chavez Jr. Yeah, look, Chavez Jr. is beatable by anybody, but still, though, he's known to bully a lot of small guys with his crudeness and his ability to overpower them. So, and that's why people felt that he was being a big weight bully over at middleweight, because this dude at middleweight used to rehydrate up to almost over 185 pounds or under 80 pounds. He was going into middleweight fights as almost a goddamn cruiserweight. So yeah. Let's see here. Kiwi says, "Oh yeah, not on this card, but down the track." Yeah. Definitely, Kiwi. Definitely down the line. So, let's see. What else is there? What else is there? Rasclot, what's going on, man? He says that weight bully is a real thing. I mean, bring back the same day weigh-ins. You know what? I have been an advocate of that, Rasclot. That's a good point. I think we need to bring the same day weigh-ins back, because that way boxing matches are even in a way. But unfortunately, the powers maybe got rid of that. So, but yeah, I think we definitely need to bring back the same day weigh-ins. Obviously, heavyweights don't need that, so we need to leave that alone. But as far as the lower weight classes, I agree. We need to bring back same day weigh-ins. I totally agree with that analogy. I really do. But yeah, not too much going on, guys. Just I wanted to share that real quick with you guys. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Yeah, Joe Host, I covered the Gross fight. George Gross, I mean, like I said, Cal Smith, good win. I mean, he took advantage of a man who was badly injured in his previous fight with a separated shoulder. Not Cal Smith's fault, even though he was slighted to be he was like the slight underdog going into it. So he took, hey, he did what he had to do. He got a very good win. He not only captured the WBA title, but he also captured he also captured the Muhammad Ali Trophy, $50 million, and also the Ring Magazine belt. So he's now the number one super middleweight in the world. So we'll see. That doesn't mean he's the best, but he is the number one super middleweight in the world until he fights Benavidez and Ramirez and Uzcategui. Then yeah, and Caleb Plant, obviously. Then yeah, we could say yeah, he's the best. How do I feel about Billy Joe? Let me see. Gross fought a cruiserweight. You talking about Callum Smith, Ross Clark? Callum Smith didn't. I mean, he looked tall. He was rangy, but he didn't really look that big from a mass standpoint. I thought Groves looked like the bigger man from a mass standpoint against which called against Callum Smith. So, yeah. let me see here. How do I feel about Billy Joe? Well, Billy Joe's a fucking immature prick. Okay, very good fighter, yes, but but outside the ring, he's a fucking immature prick. All right, he has no immaturity whatsoever. He has no maturity whatsoever. He always berates people. You know, he gets all kind of shit that he should be getting into. And now this whole drug thing with this, I can't even pronounce the PED he got busted for. But there's some bit of conflict on this situation because according to UCAD, the the substance that he used is permitted for only for out of competition reasons. Now, out of competition reasons only apply for day before or day after the fight. Of course, with Andrade fight, that's way before the day after or day before. But the problem with that situation, this is where the conflict comes into play, is that this fight with Andrade is not taking place in the UK. It's taking place in America, in Boston. So that jurisdiction does not apply to the Massachusetts State Athletic Commission. That doesn't apply to them. So it doesn't apply to WADA, but it applies to VADA some reasons. But yeah, so this is a bit of a conflict with Billy Joe Saunders with that stimulus situation. So they're going to have to make a decision on him and what they're going to do on this standpoint. I mean, could he be stripped from the title? As Eddie Hearn would put it, that's a 50-50 situation. So it's a 50% chance he could be stripped, but there's also 50% chance that he could keep his title and go ahead and go on to fight against Andrade. So we'll see as things progress. So let's see. Copez says that Smith was a skinny rat. People are confusing Smith's height and reach with the body mass. Yeah, exactly, Copez. That's exactly what I just said. I agree with that. Yeah, he's not really a big super middleweight. He's just tall and he's just very slim and he's very rangy. That's about it. Groves was actually much bigger than him. He looked a lot bigger than Smith. A lot bigger. Black Lad sees that, yeah, I picked Groves for the knockout, but I was wrong. Actually, I picked Groves by decision. I didn't think he was going to knock out Callum Smith, but I thought he was going to outbox him. I thought he was going to pick his shots against him, but Callum Smith was just very good with his counters. It's just that reach and that height bothered Groves, and Callum Smith used it extremely well. I have to give him credit for that. So he confused Groves with that. So, yeah. Rosclot says, nah, Smith was heavier on that fight night. Nah, he wasn't, man. He didn't look heavy to me. I'm sorry. Copa says, any idea who DL's fighting tonight? Yeah, he's fighting some guy named, let me look it up. He's fighting some guy, which I never heard of. James DeGale's fighting some guy named Fidel Monterosa Munoz, and he's fighting tonight in Ontario. I didn't know he's fighting here tonight. He's fighting here in Ontario, California, which is about a good 40 minutes away from me, about an hour away from where I live. But let me look at Fidel. Let me look at Fidel Munoz's record. He's 39-18, so he's obviously a journeyman. He's been knocked out 15 times out of his 18 losses. The only notable lane that he's fought is let's see. I recognize Rashidi Ellis. I recognize him. He's an upcoming prospect at super middleweight. Actually, no. This guy is a smaller man. He's actually coming up in weight. Hold up. I gotta look into this. Hold up. Let's see. He fought Rashidi Ellis at what weight class? I thought he fought him at light middleweight. Let me see. So he's fighting James DeGale. And he fought, so he had one super middleweight fight. So he went up in weight and fought a guy named Uni Valdez, who was 22 and 33, and he knocked him out in Talou in Colombia. All right, so he's actually a Colombian. And Rashidi Ellis, he fought Rashidi Ellis at welterweight, and he got knocked out. So this dude has been fighting at welterweight for the most part. He's been bouncing in between welterweight and middleweight. Some fights at middleweight. So he started his career at light welterweight. So DeGale's fighting a very, very small man. So yeah. Yeah, so yeah, this should be a very very simple fight for DeGale, but obviously the opponent is very very poor. I guess this is a tune-up for him to get into the fray. You know, sooner or later he'll be fighting Chris Eubank Jr., which that's the fight they've been talking about. So yeah, I don't think this fight's being televised though. That's the thing. I think this is a closed door event. Let's see. Ross says that Rob Gotti says a welterweight Rashidi. Yeah. I know. I mentioned that. Rob Gotti. What's going on, man? Uh, yeah, Ross says that he's fighting my math teacher. Let me see. Joe says I can't believe they're about to give Billy Joe a pass, but take a harsh action. Hold on, let me see. He says that Joe says that they take action against Ortiz, but they took harsh action against Ortiz for his blood pressure meds. You know what? That is a good point. That is a double standard, but at the same time, it depends where the fight's being hosted at, Joe hosts. See, the New York State Athletic Commissions have different standards compared to the Massachusetts State Athletic Commissions. But yeah, I agree, though. These state athletic commissions need to have a uniform policy when it comes to this drug testing regimen. So I totally get where you're coming from. Totally get where you're coming from. Yeah, Copan definitely agrees with me. There has to be a uniform body when it comes to the situation with these drug tests. There's many loopholes. Yeah. I want to see Smith beat down DeGale. Yeah, Liam Smith. Yeah, I favored him to beat Dave DeGale. Dave DeGale's not going to take that fight. That's the reason why he vacated his IBF title, because he's been through some wars already. He's been beaten up. He's pretty much on a serious decline. He's pretty much shot at the moment. So he ain't taking on no dangerous opponents anymore. He's going to cash out in the last couple fights. He ain't doing it anymore. He's into that. He's at the end of his career, you know? So, Roscoe's going in. He's talking about he found this guy a stack of groceries at Costco. Yeah. Copen says, I'm looking forward to Joe Joyce versus Alabi tonight. Very interesting fight, both on the same card. Yeah. Actually, yeah, that card is televised. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry, I was a little distracted here. They're located at the bottom of the register. All right. So, yeah, what up, Chris? What up, man? I'm just getting through this right here. Yeah, so it's been interesting. I'm gonna have to take a look at that card tonight. You're right. Yeah. The guy DeGale is fighting has a better record than some of Wilder's opponents. Well, to be fair, Ross Clyde, the guy that Wilder was fighting he was coming up as a prospect, and Wilder was taking on 4 or 5 guys in 1 year, 2 or 3, 3 or 4 guys in 1 year. So yeah. So let's be fair here. Let's be fair to Wilder, man. I know you don't like him, but let's be fair to Deontay Wilder. He was fighting guys like 4 or 5 times a year. So yeah, he was piling on a lot of wins. But you can say he was padding his record. I agree to some extent on that, but he was fighting to be put in a proper contest. He was fighting 4 times a year, 3 or 4 times a year. So yeah, yeah, I'm doing good, Chris, man. I'm just chilling here for a second, man. Hey, Ross, Dan, how you feel about HBO? Why is the LDBC celebrating? Well, again, Roscoe, I covered that earlier. Like I said, HBO, as the Texan and I had brought this up, the Texan said that there's a lot of variables why HBO declined, and that's why it's like their departure from boxing is mixed to negative. Yes, they put on some great fights over the many years. We can't forget those fights, but at the same time, more people are going to remember more of the fights rather than who hosts the fights. That's about it. Let's be realistic, okay? And the reason why is because And the fact is that I said the reason why HBO are leaving the boxing circuit is because AT&T, who now owns Time Warner HBO, they don't like the product. They see that the product can no longer sustain its profitability. They've been declining in ratings over the last 2 or 3 years, and their matchmaking would have been pretty subpar, with the exception of a few fights, yes. But the fact is they've had extremely poor matchmaking over the years, and the fact is that you had commentary that seemed to be extremely biased, like Lampley, Harold Letterman, and whatnot. Those two guys and Merchant, uh, who recently left HBO a few years ago. That's the reason why the American audience was tuned off on it. And Showtime, like it or not, you can say what you want about the PBC, Al Heyman and their promoters. They put on better matchmaking over the last 2 3 years, or 2 years, I should say. They have. That's a fact. They put on better matchmaking events than HBO has over the years, and they've killed them in ratings. That's a fact. They did. Let me see. Champ Ross, what's going on, man? What's going on, man? Let me see. Let's see. Black Last Season, Ross Clot is rare form today. Let's see. Ross Clot says, look, I like Wilder, but his fanboys is irritate me. Same with the AJ fans. Yeah, man. Sometimes fanboyism does make you turn off a certain fighter. I'll admit that has happened to me with Golovkin to a certain degree. But at the same time, I'll be fair with Golovkin when I need to give him credit when credit is due. I do give him credit for the things he's done at middleweight, but let's be realistic. But the things he has done, you can't compare him to all the other great middleweights. He just hasn't. He just doesn't have the wins to show that he belongs in that class of middleweights, of those great all-time great middleweights. He doesn't. I'm just being honest. I know that's a different discussion, but yeah. Let's see. Joho says no one's gonna fight Ortiz. Shaking my head. You know what, Joho? I would say this once and I'll say it again. But ever since ever since that Ortiz and Wilder fight, right? I said to myself after that Ortiz performance against Deontay Wilder, no other heavyweight's going to take that fight against Luis Ortiz. I said that he's going to be more ducked than he's ever been ducked, and I was proven right. And I'm pissed off about it. I'm extremely angry about it. Nobody wants to step up to the plate. Jarrell Big Baby Miller admitted that he ducked the fight. Joshua ducked the fight. Who else ducked the fight? Dillian White, you can say what you want about that WBC situation. He had a chance to fight Ortiz in an eliminator in a second final title eliminator or a final title eliminator. He opted out of that fight. So these top contenders all avoided Luis Ortiz. They all did. Okay. And Usmanov avoided Ortiz. It's like Takam avoided Ortiz. It's like this shit just won't stop, man, with this man. It's like this man needs to get his opportunity. He's not getting any younger. He has a family he needs to feed. He got a daughter with special needs. He needs to take care of his daughter and his other kids. So this man needs a shot. Wilder gave him a shot. You got to give Deontay Wilder praise for that. But other guys need to give this man a shot. They need to give him a shot. Plain and simple. And Ortiz is fighting on the undercard of Wilder versus Fury. So at a heavyweight, Dominic Brazil, all these guys need to step up and give this man a shot. He needs another payday. Plain and simple. Yeah, let me see. Joho said, I hate the fact that some fans are calling him a bum and an old man after fighting Wilder. You know what's funny about that, Joho? A lot of these guys who dismissing Ortiz after Wilder beating him, they all accused Wilder for ducking him for years, including myself. They've all accused him for ducking him. They all thought that Wilder was never going to fight this man. They thought that Joshua was going to take the fight. But guess what? Joshua did take the fight. He ducked that fight. But Wilder took him on. But yeah, Wilder gets no credit for that. Wow, no credit for that. So that's why I find very funny there. Kiwi says it doesn't help that Heyman won't let him fight outside the Heyman stable, but Joyce is in there now, so he said he wants to fight, so why not? Yeah, you know what? Why not take that fight? I'm glad that Joe Joyce has said he's willing to take the fight, but the question is that will his handlers will allow that to happen? That's the thing right there. Will his handlers allow it? Because Joe Joyce, yeah, he's 32, but the fact is that is he ready to take on Luis Ortiz at the moment? I don't know, man. I just don't see him how he could beat Ortiz because Joe Joyce himself, he just has terrible footwork. Yes, he has good punch output. He does have good technicality, but his hand speed is not quite there. Ortiz will counter this guy to death. I don't see how Joe Joyce would beat this guy. The only way you could beat Ortiz is by being awkward, having faster feet, and some bit of athleticism. That's what Wilder had against him. You have to be unpredictable. And that's why Ortiz had a tough time against Wilder, because he just couldn't figure the guy out. Let me see. Sorry, guys. There's so many people are asking, hit me up. Oops. Let's see. Yeah, so where was I, guys? Yeah, Champ Ross. Let me see. Lord Flatteroy. What's going on, Lord? Hey, what's going on, Flatteroy, man? We haven't spoken in a while, man. Let's see. He says that Showtime also haven't gone heavyweight into a pay-per-view robbery of the public. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Lord. I see what you're saying. But let's just hope that pay-per-view does succeed, man. Let's just hope it does. It does. I predict that if anything, it does 300,000 buys. But if it gets over that, if it gets to close to 500,000, I'll be amazed if it gets over to 500,000. I'll be honest with you. I'll be amazed if it gets to that point. But I predict maybe 200,000, maybe 300,000 buys, if that. But yeah, I'll be amazed if it gets close to 500,000. AJ didn't duck Ortiz. Ortiz took another path because he didn't want to wait. Well, Kiwi, that's not exactly accurate. This is what happened, Kiwi. Yes, Ortiz took another path because he didn't want to wait on Joshua, because he was promised to get the shot against the winner of Klitschko versus Joshua. That was the deal that both Joshua and Ortiz and Klitschko signed. That was a special agreement, a special clause that they had to sign for the WBA to approve the fake title to be on the line for that fight. And Ortiz had to step aside. That was the agreement. But when Joshua won the fight, Ortiz was scheduled to get a shot next. And then Hearn decided to go back to the WBA and say, you know what? Let's put the Ortiz fight off for now. I want him to get his IBF inventory out the way, which the WBA allowed it. Yes, Milton Mendoza, the WBA president, confirmed this is what happened. That's what they did. Okay. So Ortiz got fed up. He got upset and said, you know what? Forget it. Hold on for a second, guys. Hold on. Sorry about that, guys. I'm busy, man. But anyways, yeah. So IL Bozy, what's going on, man? So yeah. So anyways, what happened was Ortiz was no longer going to wait for his shot because he was promised that he was going to get a shot after the outcome of the Joshua Klitschko fight, as was agreed upon between Klitschko and Joshua, that whoever the winner of that fight was going to give Ortiz the shot. That's the special agreement they signed with the WBA, which Mendoza confirmed. So what happened was, an IBF was aware of it too. Mendoza, the IBF was well aware of that too. So the fact is that Ortiz was not going to wait. He's like, forget it. You know what? Let me go fight Wilder instead. So Wilder, he went on to sign on to the Wilder fight, which was scheduled for November. We all know this result of that situation. As soon as that happened, Hearn and Joshua went to the WBA and they said, you know what? If Ortiz is going to fight Wilder, then he can't be my mandatory. They wanted him to be removed from the rankings after him going to sign to Wilder to fight the Wilder fight. This is before the BP blood pressure situation came up. That was before then. They requested him to be removed as mandatory. That's what they did. They didn't want that fight. So if Deontay Wilder would have done something like that and went to a sanctioned body and say, you know what, remove this guy, I don't want him to be my mandatory, he would have got flack for that. Plain and simple. That's exactly what happened. The WBA confirmed that. They went over there and requested to have that man removed as a mandatory after he signed on to the Wilder fight. They didn't want him as a mandatory. And to me, that is a duck, because if you're gonna go to a sanctioned body and do that just to get a man out the way, that right there is a duck. End of story, man. And I like Anthony Joshua. If Deontay Wilder had did that, trust me, I would have went after that. No, Aki, that's not misinformation. That is a fact. I will read the resolutions right there, right now to you. That's exactly what happened at WBA resolution. They wanted him out the way as a mandatory after he signed on to the Wilder fight. That's what happened. No, a Kiwi. It's the same for any. No, Kiwi. There's no rule about that, Kiwi. The sanctioning bodies does not have a rule where if you're mandatory, you fight for another title. They don't have a rule where they can remove you. I don't see that rule. I've looked all over for that. The WBA does not have that rule. I've never seen that rule. Again, trust me, if Wilder was doing some shit like that, I would have gone after him, trying to get a guy out the way just because he's fighting for another man's title. No, you don't do that. That's up to the sanctioned body to decide that if they want to keep him as a mandatory or not in that situation. That's up to them. But if you're going to intervene and try to perpetuate and try to persuade him to do that, then that's a problem. I got a problem with that. No, Aki, Ortiz was not removed just because of that drug test. Yes, he was removed because of the drug test, but the fact is, before the drug test, is that Joshua and Hearn won him out the way before the drug test failure. That's a fact. That's what happened. Joshua and Hearn had no intentions of fighting that man. That's a fact. Why? Because Hearn criticized Wilder for taking that fight against Ortiz before lead up to the Ortiz fight back in March of this year. Hearn said that why is Wilder fighting Ortiz? That's a fight that I wouldn't be taking. That's what Hearn said. That's what Hearn said. He criticized Wilder for taking that fight. So so it's a fact, bro. Joshua, or his promoter by that matter, ducked the Ortiz fight by the fact that they went over to the WBA and wanted him to be removed as mandatory when he signed on to fight Wilder back in November of last year. That is the resolution that was put out by the WBA when they decided to remove Ortiz from the ranking due to that BP situation. That's what happened. This is not no fanboy talk. This is fact. I will post a resolution to that situation right here before you guys. Okay, I know we're going back to this whole White Ortiz thing. Let me just say this. Did Anthony Deontay Wilder initially duck Dillian White for $7 million? Yes, he did. I would say that. He did. But then Deontay Wilder came back and said, you know what? I'll fight Dillian White. As long as you guarantee me a shot at AJ, I'll take the fight. Hearn says no. Why not? Why not? Why not? Why can't he just compromise to that type of deal for Wilder? I just don't get it, man. Sometimes if you want a guy to fight your guy, you have to compromise. But it seems like people don't want to do it. You know, Hearn doesn't want to compromise Wilder for no reason whatsoever. I just don't understand. But anyways, So let's see. Aki says, look, cuz it's a low reward fighting Ortiz. Wilder should be fighting White, who was younger. First of all, Dillian White wasn't even in the discussion when he was fighting Ortiz. Aki, so why see Aki, you're kind of going you're flip-flopping around, man. So now you're saying that he shouldn't be fighting on Ortiz, even though many people had wanted Deontay Wilder to fight Ortiz for 3 years. They accused Wilder for ducking Ortiz. Everybody, all the Joshua fanatics were accusing him of ducking that fight. But when he finally takes a fight, when their guy Joshua didn't do it, now they want to undermine the fact that Wilder took the fight and beat the good dude. That's why I don't understand. I don't like this flip flopping around, man. I really don't like it. I don't like it. Rock says that White is garbage. Look, let me be fair though, man. Dillian White is a very good fighter. Yes, he is, but he does have flaws, just like any other fighter. He does. When he fights taller men, he does seem to struggle. He does. So that's why I feel that maybe Deontay should just take the fight against the dude and get him out the way. Plain and simple. Just get this dude out the way, and then people just will end the discussion with this whole Dillian White and Deontay Wilder situation. I think so. Let's see. Roscoe said, let's read off the names of Wilder's resume. Now we're talking about the resume talk again. Look, Roscoe, we all know that Deontay Wilder does not have a good resume compared to AJ. We know that, man. So what's the point? We know that. Let's see. White would beat Terrence Crawford. White would KO Chair Ford, I think. Oh, come on, Roscoe. You serious? Hey, this dude was playing, man. This dude was playing. Wilder was still using spare tire excuse. Well, hey, it is what it is, man. It is. These Ortiz resumes full of buzz apart for Wilder on it. Well, let me ask you guys something. Since we're going to talk about the resume argument, yes, AJ's got some good names. He does have a better resume. But let's talk about this. So people like to call Bermase Stiverne a bum, right? Well, Wilder took the title off of him. And I remember at the time people were picking Stiverne to beat Wilder. Yeah, remember that? But also, their tune changed after Wilder beats him. So let me ask you guys a question. Who's a better fighter, Bermase Stiverne or Charles Martin? Simple question. Roscoe asked me, who's a better fighter, Razor Ruddock or Luis Ortiz? I got Razor Ruddock. I got Razor Ruddock. I'm not saying Ortiz could not compete against Ruddock, but I think Razor Ruddock is going to win that fight. That's just my honest opinion, Roscoe. My honest opinion. Kiwi, you really think Charles Martin's better than? Wait, are you serious, man? Charles Martin's better than what? What? Are you serious? Charles Martin better than Bermase Stiverne? Okay. Let me ask you something. Let me ask you guys something. Yeah, I got Razor Ruddock over Luis Ortiz. Sees, I do. Are you guys serious? Okay, first of all, who's Charles Martin's best win versus Bermase Stiverne's best win? Who's his best win? You guys tell me right now. What's Charles Martin's best win? Tell me right now. I know who his best win is. You tell me. Come on. Yeah, Roscoe, we both agree on that one, but I'm asking the comment section, who's Charles Martin's best win over Bermase Stiverne's best win? Joe says, I've seen enough, man. Rock knows it. His best win was against an injured guy. We know who that guy is. I'm asking the comment section if they think Charles Martin. I'm asking a couple guys who said Charles Martin was better than Stiverne. Well, I'm asking you who was his best win versus Stiverne's best win. Well, Kiwi, you have to understand when you assess a fighter's pedigree, you have to look at the opponents they fought and who they beat. So I'm asking you, who's his better win? What's Charles Martin's best win versus Bermase Stiverne's best win? Now we could talk about skills. Yeah, skills is one thing. We're talking about the fighter's pedigree. Now, who did he beat? That was better than what Bermase Stiverne's opponents that he beat. I'm asking you. Well, you know what? I that's a good point. I thought that Martin did hit Glasscoff, but he didn't really hit him. It's just that what happened was Glasscoff, his knee, it was his positioning when he was trying to throw his shot. I think he was trying to throw a body shot against Martin. Is that he threw it to the point that his knee gave out when he positioned his foot, and that's what happened. So yeah. Well, Kiwi, I get what you can believe that, but what I'm asking you is that if you think that Martin was schooled for Stavern, so be it. But I'm asking you, amongst the better wins between the two men, who has the better wins, Charles Martin or Bebe Stavern? I'm asking you. Yeah, Martin is the weakest heavyweight of all time. Well, yeah, he's one of the weakest. Yes, I would say that he is. I mean, come on, guys. If you really think that Charles Martin's better than Mason Ver, come on, man. I thought you guys could be impartial here. Yes, we all like Anthony. You like Anthony Joshua, but let's be fair here. Let's be fair here. I can be fair because I tell you, Anthony Joshua's resume is better than Deontay Wilder's. No question about it. No question about it. But you guys are not being fair. You say that Charles Martin's better than Mason Ver. I mean, seriously. Look, I'm not. Look, Ross Clyde. Yeah, exactly. His best win is against Chris Ariella. Now you compare Chris Ariella to Zars Glaskov. Who's a better fighter between those two? Let's be honest, Ross Clyde. Who's a better fighter between Chris Ariella or Zars Glaskov? Rock says that IKO Charles Martin. Oh man, I don't know about that one, man. Yeah, we saw him against Adam Kodaski. He gave a good performance, but he lost the fight. He didn't win it. Plain and simple, Aki. He didn't win the fight. Mr. Oval said that Wilder should have fought Martin and got that title. Yeah, I agree, Mr. Oval. I think they should have made that fight. I don't know why they didn't make it, but I read something about that. Here's the thing: Charles Martin was looking for a highest bidder to get that fight done. I mean, when he had won the fight against Glaskov, he was trying to sell his belt to the highest bidder. And the situation with Wilder is that Wilder was tied up with the Povetkin situation, and the WBC was not going to allow a voluntary defense for him to take another fight before the Povetkin fight. So that's the reason why they couldn't make that fight. So, or I just say that was the reason that the possibility of that fight would never get made. So yeah, Kodaki would stop Severn. Yeah, you know what, Kiwi, I agree. Kodaki would beat Severn, no question about it. I think he would. I think he would. Battle Rifle says, I think that Povetkin would have gave away a tougher fight for Wilder than Severn did. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Wilder would have been far more dangerous for Povetkin than Severn. Far more dangerous. Rosclaw says that Wilder did duck no damn Martin. Yeah, of course he did duck that fight. I don't know why people saying that shit. Siaki, yeah, that's misinformation right there. Wilder never ducked Charles Martin. They never even made that fight. They didn't even come to the negotiation table for that fight. Where you get your information from? From Fat Apples? Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. Y'all news, man. Yeah, Roscoe. Yeah, let me just say this. Roscoe and I don't agree on everything, but we will agree on one thing. But Mason Vern is not a very good fighter. We know he's not. But I can tell you this, though. He is a better fighter than freaking Charles Martin. He is a better fighter than Charles Martin. Let's put that to rest. He is. Plain and simple. So what about Parker and the Klitschko fight? What about him? Great win for JJ. That Klitschko fight was a damn good win. No question about it. But the Parker fight, yeah, decent, very good win as well, but not a very good fight. Hey, Tony Ayo says Dundon's feet this dude this information. Oh man, don't yeah, you gotta mention Dundon, man, the king of misinformation. Let me see. Martin would lose to Chris Algieri. Damn, dude, this dude Rossclott's going in on Charles Martin. Even Rock 89 is going in on Charles Martin. He said, yeah, even Tim Bradley, if he had fought Charles Martin, they would start calling Tim Lights Out Bradley. Wild Rifle says the way you beat Deontay Wilder is put a boxer cutter underneath your gloves and stab his kid. Yeah. Yeah, it was a stinker, Dan, for both Parker and AJ. They both fought like scared kittens. Yeah, yeah, Kiwi. You know, you and I agree on this one, man. They both fought very cautiously, and they just both did what they were like reluctant. They were very reluctant to engage with each other. And to be fair though, Joseph tried though. He did try to fight the inside. He tried to take the fight the inside, but you got a very incompetent referee that didn't even allow him to fight the inside, and that's what pissed me the fuck off. And that gave Joshua some bit of advantage right there to keep the fight from the long range. And to me, if they took that fight the inside, I think Joseph would have had bested Joshua there to some degree. I'm not saying Joshua would have done any good in the inside, but I think that Joseph would have had got a better chance of taking that fight the inside and could have got the upper hand, but the referee wouldn't allow him to do it. And that's what pissed me the fuck off right there. So let's see here. I'm sorry, guys. I got another text. Great. Shoot. Let's see. Christy Martin versus. Oh man, y'all going in on Charles Martin, man. Oh man, Ross Class says that Thunder Nuts is a pact. Yeah, we all know Thunderdome, man. I mean, we all know how biased he is against certain fighters. We all know that. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, let me see. Joe says Sean Zoldoff stops Martin. Hey, that'd be a good fight. That'd be a. Talk to you later, bro. Hey, Ross Clyde, man. Hey, good. Hey, yeah, man. You know what, man? Ross Clyde. See, Ross Clyde's one of those guys that I could talk to. See you later, man. He and I don't have to agree on everything, but we keep it respectful. And same thing with Kiwi. Kiwi and I, this is the first time Kiwi and I haven't disagreed on certain things, but we keep it respectful, Ross Clyde, Aki, same thing. Even though you're a staunch Joshua supporter, but we don't have to agree on everything. Same thing with Io, Abusi, but we all keep it respectful, So, yeah. Charles Martin versus Wilson's Frisk. Oh, man. Come on, man. Battle. Are you serious? Wilson. You guys are crazy, man. Hold on. Let's see. So a lot of people contacted me. We'll say, y'all dudes, man. Y'all dudes. All right, Ross Clyde. See you later, brother. Yeah, see you later. Yeah, respect is king. Exactly, Kiwi. We respect each other. We all don't have to agree on everything, but we can disagree with the certain level of respect. No lane calling and all that stuff, So, and you guys know me, I'm impartial. I'm a Wilder fan, but if I see Deontay Wilder do something wrong, I'm going to call him out on it. You guys know that. So, yeah. Let's all pray that Wilder beats Fury for the sake of good future fights. Yeah, you know what? Let's say this, Io. I mean, Wilder. I think he'll beat Fury. I think it'll be a very competitive fight. If he does beat him, then we'll definitely get the future heavyweight fights. I mean, then we get Big Baby Miller in the mix. Finally, he fights some good opponents because we all criticize Wilder's resume, but let's look at Big Baby Miller. His best wins are against over the hill opposition that Wilder beat. Deontay Wilder leftovers, I should say. Let's be real. Other than Marius Wach, which is a Klitschko and Povetkin leftover, and now he's fighting Adamek, which is another leftover from Vladimir Klitschko. He was supposed to fight Spilka, which is a Deontay Wilder leftover and a Kornacki leftover, but Now he's fighting Thomas Automac. So let's be fair here. Brazil needs to start to get active now because I don't know what's going on with him. You know, Ross Clark, I know he's leaving, but he did ask me about the WBC rankings, about why is Dillian White still #1 ranking, even though he's not the primary mandatory, and Dominic Brazil is ranked #4, and he's a mandatory. Yeah, you know what? That I don't know, man. And Tyson Fury is ranked above Dominic Brazil. That I don't understand, man. I don't know what's going on with these rankings. And the WBC mentioned that they were going to remove Dillian White as the #1 challenger. They were going to remove him, not remove him from the rankings, but they're going to take away his #1 status because he failed to comply with the final eliminator with Ortiz. But yeah, it's very bizarre how they got their ranking systems. I don't get it, man. It's very, very quizzical to me. Puzzling, I should say. Dan the Pan. Why? What's up? Why you call me the Pan, bruh? Or you meant to say the man? But anyways, battle rifle. Do you like Danny and yogurt? I mean, look, man, I'm a vegan, so I really stay away from yogurt. Charles Martin loses to Razor Ruddock today. Yeah, absolutely. Razor Ruddock will batter the crap out of Charles Martin, and I think Razor Ruddock will beat Luis Ortiz. And this is me being a Wilder fan. I say that Luis Ortiz would be more competitive than Charles Martin. I would say that, but I think that Razor Ruddock would beat Luis Ortiz. Definitely beat him. I know Black Lad sees you and I disagree on that one, but I think he would beat him. Pee-wee says that Wilder will beat Fury if he stops him. Not easy task. Fury is very hard to hit. I haven't seen Wilder fight anyone so elusive as anyone. Arthur Spilka was. He was very elusive, but Spilka was probably a little bit faster on his feet than Fury. Spilka was very, very tricky and elusive, but Wilder was catching him with some good rights and eventually put him to sleep in the 9th round. So yeah. Yeah, I saw that fight with Robert Lanius and Erkin Tepper. I mean, yeah, that was, and I thought Tepper was beating Lanius. Lanius just was in there and looked like he didn't have no heart, man. He was like mentally giving up in that fight until he caught Tepper and it got him out of there. I was like, okay, yeah, Lanius is now with that win. Maybe he gets back into the mix to some degree. Hey, Battle Rifle, you call me names, bro. You call me Dan Cakes. Hey, man. Hey, you call me names, bro. You can't be more respectful than that, bro. I mean, if you joking, let me know. Because if you're not, I'm going to boot you out of here, bro. I ain't got no time for jokes. So let me see. I'm talking about 50-year-old Razor Ruddock. Oh. Well, let's be fair, man. I'm going to be fair. Charles Martin would beat that version of Razor Ruddock. I'm being honest. I think he would. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Ortiz would beat Razor Ruddock, but I respect your opinion. Yeah, that's our opinions, man, but that's just my take on it. I got Mr. Miyagi stopping Charles Martin. Damn, man, y'all going savage on Charles Martin. But at least give the man some credit. He did put up a good effort against Kornacki, even though I thought Kornacki was going to stop him, but he did he did show some heart. He did show some effort, but yeah, he still got ways to go to prove himself after that fight. He still got to get some wins. Some good wins, I should say. Yeah, Tepper was slowing. I mean, it seems like Helenius had the plan to retiring Tepper, and it worked out well. Yeah, I that's probably the case. But to me, at the same time, I thought Helenius was mentally not in that fight. It's just, to me, I thought he was not mentally there. But he caught Tepper when he tired him out, and yeah, decent win. So yeah. Helenius is still far too easy to hit for any elite fighter. Yeah, he's too upright. He doesn't really have a lot of head movement. So, yeah, he definitely get hit easily. I agree with you on that one, Kiwi. I'm just joking around, Dan. Just trying to kill you. All right, man. All right, fair enough. You know how typing is very, very deceiving. So I just want to make sure, man. Yeah. What Charles Martin do, y'all? I mean, what did he do? I mean, yeah, we all know what he did. Yeah, Ayo, so who do you think is the #1 super middleweight right now? I still got Benavidez. As of right now, Ayo, I think Colin Smith is, because he did beat the #1 super middleweight in George Groves. Aside from capturing the ring title, so I think Colin Smith is the #1 guy right now. That doesn't mean he's the best. I think he's #1 right now after he beat the #1 guy, George Groves. So, yeah. I was screaming at Helenius to get to work the body, throw some hands. It was frustrating to watch. Yeah, it was, man. I'll admit that, Kiwi. like I said, I thought he was mentally giving up in that fight, but until he caught Tepper with that jab to the face and then the body shot. So yeah. So yeah, I mean the PBC cards on tonight. Joe Joyce is fighting Louis, and then Jay DeGale's fighting on the undercard too against the journeyman. So yeah, so it's interesting to watch some fighting tonight on Sunday. So yeah, we'll see what's going on. Nick Webb scored a KO victory tonight. Yeah, that's a good bounce back win from his devastating knockout loss to Tony Allen. I mean, sorry, Tony Allen, Dave Allen. I'm sorry, to Dane Allen. So yeah. So we'll see. Jockey lads, what's going on, Jockey? Jockey said the WBC is a joke with the waste man belt jacking champs like Wilder and Stevenson. Bullshit mandatory sanctions and corruption. Suleiman and Heyman and Don King all in bed and doing the ganja. Well, I agree with you on one thing. Suleiman, Heyman and Don King does have a very, very cozy relationship with the WBC. No question about that there. Now, as far as their mandatory situations, yeah, it is. Now, let's just put it this way. Dom Brazil definitely, is good. It's good enough to be a good mandatory challenger. But yes, if you want to play by the rules, maybe he should not be the first mandatory. I get that. I totally agree with you on that one, Jockey lad. Now, as far as the way they put Tyson Fury in there, does he deserve to be ranked? Yes. Let's put it this way. He should have fought an eliminator at least to be justified as a guy to be ranked at the WBC. But the fact is that they ranked him after the Safir win, and that was not even a WBC eliminating bout. They put him in the rankings. They gave him a number 7th ranking, and to me, I was going to do a video on that, and I was like, wait a minute, Tyson Fury is being ranked by the WBC? Are they putting him in there? Is there going to be a fight between him and Wilder coming up? So, yeah, I was kind of suspicious about that, man. Now, as far as Stevenson, yeah, Stevenson have fought in the mandatory in 3 years. He's finally fighting one against Alexander Vosdick. So, yeah, I agree with you. Some of your points about that, Jackie Lab. But then again, yes, let's be real. Wilder is not mandated to fight another mandatory to another few months. But Stevenson, his is way overdue. So I see where you come from on that one. Black Lad Caesar's like, why is Bud Crawford haters downplaying Jose Benavidez? I mean, he's rated number 1 by the WBA. He's much better than Ocampo. Yeah. Benavidez is a much better fighter than Ocampo. He's much better mandatory. Let's be realistic. I'm not saying Benavidez is an elite fighter, but he's definitely better than Ocampo. Much better fighter than Ocampo. Let me see. Yayo says, not sure Heyman can save Victor Ortiz here, but sucks for Molina fight to be canceled. Yeah, he can't save him because rape. I'm not saying, sexual assault, which is borderline rape, that's very difficult to overcome that situation. I mean, but hey, Heyman does have the pockets. If he can get Ortiz out of that situation, well, Ortiz is definitely going to have to get into that loan program that Adrian Broner is with Heyman. So yeah. Some Parker news for you guys. Parker is going to go back in camp for a fight in December in New Zealand. Yeah, you know what? That's good news for Joseph. He definitely needs to get back into camp, take a tune-up. From what I heard, Kiwi, he's actually going to ask for Lennox Lewis for consultation. So maybe Lennox Lewis is going to co-train him with Kevin Barry. So that's a possibility. So we'll see how that goes. Charles Martin, Flannerboard says that Charles Martin certainly isn't the first guy ever to find out there's our levels to this game. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, definitely agree with that. So, all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. It was good talking to all of you guys. Shout out to all the guys in the comment section. Rock89, Kiwi, always a pleasure, brother. Battle Rifle, Lord Flanneroy. Yeah, we got to chop it up, Lord Flanneroy. We haven't talked in a long while, brother. Black Lad Caesar as always, man. Tony Yayo, Battle Rifle, Jockey Lad, Aki. Even though we disagree a lot of things, Aki, but shout out to you, man. Boozy, Ayo, Bususi, always a pleasure, brother. Joe Host as always, man. Derek Williams, always a pleasure, brother. Tony Styles is a pleasure as always. So all you guys, shout out to all you guys in the comment section. Ross Clot, always a pleasure, bro. Lowland Profits, always a pleasure, man. I'm gonna give you guys all a shout out here. I'm gonna get through everybody here. Champ Ross, yeah, I didn't get a chance to chop it up with you, Champ, but I gotta hit up Champ, man. We gotta see when to get to the tickets to the Wilder and Fury fight. We're probably gonna go to that public event that's taking place on the 3rd, so we're probably gonna get to that. Chris, what's going on, man? Yeah, shout out to Chris, Rob Gotti. Rome. So yeah, I think that's about it. Wing King, the Texan, they were in here earlier. Great drink. Copen, Hamed. So all you guys, man, shout out to all you guys. I'm out. So I'll see you next time. Peace.